And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. For you members out there of the Lakers Fast Break, you get first dibs on YouTube, where I uploaded for you right now. You can go ahead and check it out, where we're talking about Black Friday deals, Wicked, Gladiator 2, and more. So go ahead and check it out right now. And upcoming, they're later this weekend for everyone else, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, as well, Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Get your last minute tips and news for week 12, and also picks as well from Chris Ardieri and also as well Joe Soro. Go ahead and check it out today, wherever you get your podcasts as well. Of course, also the Lakerholics crew who were here earlier today. You know they are not happy guys right now, but go ahead and help them out by stopping on by at the Lakerholics.com website right there for you. But also as well, of course, Lakers in 5, Empire Jeff TV, John McCallion channel, and also as well Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Yo! Go ahead and check out all those great channels, but also as well, of course, there he is, DBSH, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Go ahead and check out what they're doing today as far as Stone Hansen, who stopped on by. Also, as well, Alfred Esmond, who stopped by earlier this week, Legend 350 and more. Go ahead and check out all these great channels. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. Subscribe today. We need 85 more subscribers to get to the magical 2,000 number. So go ahead and help us out by subscribing today. Like those videos. Tell people in your life, if they're a Lakers fan, to check us out, because we truly need to go ahead and get, that's our goal. By the end of the year, can we get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year? You can make this happen by going ahead and doing that today. Plus, don't forget, $2.99 a month down below. I give you shout outs, emojis, badges, videos ahead of time in some cases, and articles and more. Go ahead and check out, become a member today right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Well, the Lakers came in tonight, Saturday night. Looked like it was lined up for success, coming off the debilitating victory on Thursday. That very where should have had that victory against Orlando. Team was going to be motivated tonight. The Nuggets played last night, had to do the fly-in, coming late. Looked like it was all set up for Lakers finally putting one over on the Denver Nuggets after a solid first half, which saw the Lakers go up by 6 at the half. It all fell apart. Whatever JJ said to the team at halftime, he needs to throw it away, because whatever he said dispirited the Lakers. They came out unfocused, unmotivated. They shot terrible. Absolutely abysmal on defense. Jokic did anything he wanted to. MPJ, even Russell Westbrook embarrassed us and humiliated us as the Lakers got dismantled. They got punked. Whatever you want to say, it was total garbage in the second half as the Lakers get destroyed in that second half to finish up with a 127-102 victory for the Nuggets. The Lakers now fall to 10-6. Nuggets are 9-8. The Nuggets are 9-6, just behind the Lakers now in the Western Conference. And here today to talk about today's game, after not one but two losses, two very tough losses. It is a good man indeed. It is Ox1947, LakersBall.com, plus also as well Simblades, and his game coming out on Wednesday, Corrupt, Coreupt, on Steam. It is Joe Soro. And Joe, we talked about it earlier in the week, looking ahead to the games in Orlando. Of course, the Nuggets, Phoenix on Tuesday. We said, what would this team look like when the games got a little tougher? Well, we've seen it now through 2 games. It hasn't looked so good.
Well, this is the second team that they've played that had their full team. I mean, I know Aaron Gordon's out, but Jokic and Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. are the big 3 on Dallas's team. And the Lakers were teetering in the first half for a little bit, and then they kind of had a chance to break it open a little bit, but they just could not extend the lead enough. And it doesn't matter really what happens in the first half anymore with Denver. As soon as the second half starts, the Lakers turn into dog shit. It's no different. It just tonight's game was maybe a little bit quicker versus when the Lakers usually give up the game around maybe mid fourth quarter, maybe at the beginning of the fourth quarter. So it's kind of par for the course at this point with Denver. AD played like he's been playing against Jokic for about what 2 years now.
6-19 for today.
He I saw that he was rubbing his forearm on the right
Yeah.
side.
Yep.
So get ready for the excuse that something happened to his arm, because something always happens to something with him. They actually did me a favor finally and slapped Jamal Murray in the face, and they proceeded to get worse after that. So I apologize for telling them to do that, and they did it, and it didn't really do anything. It's but guys, it's yeah, I think the dust is going to start settling here very, very soon. And when
Yay!
these
A
teams start to finally
subscriber.
get a little healthier, I think that's really what you're going to have to base this
Thank you.
team by.
Appreciate you subscribing. DBSH said, as far as the super chat, they just own us, Joe. Trade D'Lo for MPJ now. As if they could. As if they could, DBSH.
There's a waiting game here until December 15th when certain people can get traded. However, I don't see anything happening. I think they're going to ride this until as close as they can to the deadline, and then we're going to have to see what kind of miracle can be worked out there. This team needs rebounding. They can't box out in general against teams that are inferior to them. So imagine them trying to rebound against teams that actually have talent in the box, or I should say in the paint. You had guys that were shorter making plays, guys like Westbrook, guys like Brown getting at balls. It's just this team does not have any desire to rebound, while other teams do that are much smaller than them or other players. And you have the usual suspects that keep coming around. I mean, D'Lo looks like absolute gutter trash. Gabe Vincent is non-existent still. Max Christie is shit. D'Lo, so LeBron getting a turnover every other time isn't going to help. And then, of course, AD playing like a scared puppy tonight. Oof. Yeah, it's a miracle that they were up by 6 through the first half. I think what Denver does is they turn into Floyd Mayweather against the Lakers. And what Floyd Mayweather did the last 10 fights in his career is he would give you a false sense of security. And you knew he was going to do this. That's the brilliant part about it, is he would lose the first, let's say, 2 rounds or 2 of the first 3 rounds. And then as soon as he has you kind of feeling a certain way, whether you're tired or confident, then he'd start slapping you around. And that's exactly what Denver does to the Lakers every time. They let them have a little piece. They give them a little tease. The Lakers go on a run or have a lead. And then as soon as they're ready to turn it on, they turn it on. And then the Lakers sit there with their dicks in their hands, not knowing what the hell to do.
Once again, it is the Lakers fast break. The Lakers lose 125 or 127 to 102. Lose to the Denver Nuggets. The Lakers are now 10-6 on the season after 2 straight losses. No excuses, Joe. They cost themselves on Thursday, and it looks like they only have themselves to blame on today's game. That second half, they came out lack of focus, unmotivated. But you're right. The Denver Nuggets just have their number. They knew it. Didn't matter if they were down 6 at the half, Joe, because when you know when you just feel you have that confidence that whatever it is that the Lakers throw out, you just know you're going to overcome it. It just seems like the Nuggets just have that confidence that they can beat the Lakers anytime that they want.
Yeah. And in this league, if one team keeps beating you, it can cost you a series, and it has. It has in the last couple of years. So to say, "Oh, we're going to try to avoid Denver," well, you can't. You can't avoid Denver. You're going to run into that team one way or the other. You better solve that problem. And a lot of this is, I don't believe, is completely talent wise. A lot of it is, but this is also a mental thing where you just don't see you don't see a lot of balls on this team, and that's just who they are. I'm not expecting anybody to come out and turn into uh, I don't know what's a good example right now. Who's feisty? I mean, am I going to use Draymond Green as an example? I don't really consider him feisty. I think he's just a obnoxious slob. But maybe someone like Rick Fox in the past that would get under people's skin, like just somebody that could settle the tone a little bit. But the Lakers are AD and LeBron, and then once in a while you got somebody like Austin Reeves, and maybe Connect might show up a little bit. It's not enough on this team, folks. It's not when you start playing the really good teams, which Denver is going to be good. I've picked them to go back to the finals, and I haven't seen any reason to not pick them at this point. It's easy to say, well, Russell Westbrook's on that team; he'll cost them at some point, but Mike Malone has the luxury of sitting him down when he has to, and I think that solves that problem if he has to go that route. So yeah, I'm trying to think what's going to happen here in the next few games. San Antonio beat Golden State, so and if we think that the next two games are going to be easy because one is Phoenix without Durant, and then you're playing supposed to be a low level team like San Antonio. Well, I hope you're right, because this could very well go bad in the next few days, because it is a back to back. It's a back to back road game, which means they have to beat Phoenix and then fly to San Antonio. And not only that, it's a late game on Tuesday, and then the Wednesday game is an hour and a half earlier than normal. Actually, 2 hours to be exact. When they play, like in terms of when they play in the West Coast, or I should say LA. Sorry. Usually they play 7:30. They have a 5:30 San Antonio game. So they're gonna play in Phoenix, and then they got to play a quicker game the following day and fly there. So those are all recipes for danger. Danger in terms of being complacent, tired, and having an excuse on why you're sucking that night.
Just not good.
We're not looking good. And then of course, as soon as they're done there, then they got to fly home and play Oklahoma City before they go on that 6 out of 7 road game, a road trip where they're playing Utah at Utah. No matter how bad Utah is, playing in Utah is always a pain in the ass. Then they got to play Minnesota, then Miami, then Atlanta. The southern trip is always a pain in the ass, just because I think a lot of these guys have extracurricular activities down south a little more than normal. And Saturday games, I always kind of feel like somebody's doing something on a Friday night, so they're never really ready to play on Saturday. Lakers are terrible on Saturday. I don't know the statistics, but they usually lose Saturday games. So this is another issue that isn't being addressed by the Lakers. Not only do they get their asses kicked in the second half of every Denver meeting that they can't seem to get their heads out of their asses about, they always seem to lose a Saturday game. What the fuck are you doing on a Friday night where you're losing on a Saturday? Can somebody ask this question in those post-game things so that we can maybe get an idea? I mean, they're probably going to give some lame-ass answer like, well, we don't do anything else different. Bullshit. Why do you guys keep losing on Saturdays then? What are you doing on Friday night? I'd like to know, because now you can't blame Darvin Ham anymore. Who are you going to blame now? The Holy Ghost? Who?
Once again, it is the Lakers losing 127 to 102. 13 of the last 14, Joe. When somebody's got your number, they got your number, and the Nuggets certainly have the Lakers' number. Absolutely pathetic performance in the second half. No fight. They course, talked about spirit after the game as far as not having that same spirit. It, whatever you want to say, it just looked like the Lakers absolutely just got befuddled. Michael Malone did a number on JJ. He looked absolutely just outcoached. For starters, again, having cannot connect out there could have given you a better way to start the first and second halves, especially the second half. But again, there's still more than that. There's still many things that the Lakers should have done differently. But when you don't have a roster that's complete, you have so many holes. Jokic is just so good. He knows where and how to exploit teams. In this case, he knows where and how to exploit the Lakers.
It is mental, and then there is a talent deficiency as well. It's a total team collapse. It's just a total team collapse. It's a matchup problem. They can't match up with Michael Porter Jr. AD can't guard Jokic anymore. He used to be able to, not anymore. Jamal Murray didn't even have a good game tonight. That's a scary thought. Imagine if he had a good game. This might have been a 40-point win. And then you had that numbnuts Russell Westbrook clowning you all over the place. One of the things I don't like about today's NBA is you can't put an elbow to his throat on purpose. Otherwise, you'll get suspended for 10 games. I think they need to ease up on that a little bit, because I think guys that have that kind of a mouth that dress like tulips should be able to get served every now and then. But maybe that's me being a little old school or boomer-ish. I don't know if they can fix this with Denver. I don't know. I haven't been able to figure out a way to work around it, because as soon as they do go the wrong route with them, it's kind of like a point of no return.
Rodell, this was a roster construction issue game. Yes, AD and LeBron did not show up for today's game, but you also should have a roster that if they don't give you everything that you need, you should have enough quality depth on your team to pick up the slack. And Joe, LeBron, and AD didn't show up today. And again, when this team is so reliant on two players because you do not have the depth around you, it's clear the Lakers, again, they go the way AD and LeBron goes, whether they like it or not.
And this is an epidemic with AD. AD is struggling against big players with skills the last 3-4 years. This isn't something that happens once in a while. AD is starting to show that he is getting absolutely manhandled by guys like Sabonis, guys like Jokic. These guys are starting to own him. And it's embarrassing how badly they're owning him. He's not even competing. It's not even a rivalry anymore. It's complete ownership. Even the game that they beat Sacramento in earlier in the year, Sabonis was still running game on him. It just so happened that AD had a good game, but he can't stop anybody. He can't stop anybody. And those guys are not athletically gifted in any way. I would like to think that if you're Anthony Davis, whom arguably had the greatest skill set in the last decade for a big, that maybe he could use that on top of the fact that he's a veteran who probably has some tricks up his sleeve as well. Like we don't have any of that with him. All we have with AD in these kind of games is he gets hit a little bit and all of a sudden he starts to grab at things. It's getting irritating. It's getting obnoxious at this point. If you're going to play like this, you might as well just go sit then.
Again, just not a lot of options tonight. It looked like for all the positivity that was going to come into this game, even with the loss that they had against Orlando, Lakers still had a 10-5 record coming into today's game. I said before, it was, let's go see what this team was like against quality other teams that don't have missing players. Let's see what they look like. And on Thursday, it was a quality Orlando team that beat the Lakers. On Saturday, it was a team that had all of its, outside of Aaron Gordon, its main players in the rotation facing off against the Lakers, Joe, and it's. I think it's a bigger sign. I think it's a bigger sign of what we talked about how this team may be closer to what we think than what it's shown to be in the past couple weeks, getting that record of 10-4.
How many quality, healthy teams have they played this year? I'm the first two teams that come into my head are Denver and Cleveland.
And don't forget Phoenix.
Phoenix was at full capacity in Phoenix, right?
Yeah, the Phoenix game, yes.
Okay,
In
but
Phoenix.
that was a close game. They probably should have won that game, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so they've played one game against a quality team that was healthy and had a healthy lineup, and they lost. So, but it was close, so we'll give them that. But that's 0-3 right now, folks, out of those 10 wins. The 7 wins that they've had were against teams that are out of the playoffs, even the play-in, record-wise so far, or teams that were ridiculously injured. Guys, not even their star it wasn't just their star. It was their second star, too, that was out in a lot of these cases. Like, for example, Philadelphia. Maxey was out and Embiid was out. So now, what do you do? How do you assess this team's performance? I don't. We're gonna find out here in the next couple of weeks. This next couple of weeks are going to be telling. They have a very long road trip, and they're all cities they struggle in, except for maybe Minnesota. They're pretty good there, but Minnesota's starting to play a little bit better right now. So we're gonna know, guys. We're gonna know. We're gonna know by December 15th. We're gonna get a chance to see what kind of transpires there. So right now we have 6, 7, 8. We have 8 games until there isn't a game until the 19th of December. So there's Portland when they come back home. It's December 8th game, and then their next regular season game that counts, which is after the in-season tournament, is going to be December 19th. So by December 19th, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they have 8 games. Where do they go? What's the record going to be after 24 games? Is it 12-12? Is it 14-11? I'm sorry, 13-11, 14-10, 15-9, 15-9. Maybe might be a little realistic. What do you think, Gerald?
Right now to 24 games, I'd probably
Could they win
say
5? Could they win 5 of the next 8?
15-9 sounds like it. Maybe 14-10.
I don't know.
We'll soon find out, though.
We'll be here.
Yeah.
We'll be here to watch.
Yep. And at 30 games, we'll see what it looks like then, indeed. But yeah, once the schedule got a little tougher, we were told you to prepare, and so far it's not been good to watch. But
I'm actually I'm on board San Mia on cutting Gabe. I actually would cut Gabe just to put a little shock in this team. I seriously would cut him. He absolutely does nothing for this team.
It's got another year.
Yeah.
You'd have to wait and stretch.
I would tell him, just look, this is not working. We got to put some kind of something here. Even if, look, what's better than 0? Anything. Anything is better than 0. Anything is better than 0. This guy is a complete 0. Wow. I could not have ever thought that Kendrick Nunn could be out shittied by anyone, but Gabe Vincent has. I mean, it's pretty remarkable.
He's just joking on that, Rodell. He knows he has another year left on his contract. So
it doesn't matter if he has 2 more years left. You saw what the Giants just did with Daniel Jones. Sometimes a team needs to just call it a day. Seriously. Because it's exhausting. It's an exhausting task to continue to watch shit fester all around you nonstop. I'd rather limit the shit a little bit. It's still going to be shit, but can we limit it to maybe a pound of shit instead of 2 pounds of shit? At this point, I really don't know what else to say. What else is there to do? What, you think he's going to get better all of a sudden? Are we waiting on that? Oh man, I don't think so. I really don't. And as far as I'm concerned, I would trade D'Lo right now. I would go call teams and say, look, it's an expiring contract. Can you guys give me a second round pick in 2058? Something to just get out of this rut. Well, who's going to play guard now, Joe? I don't know. Who's playing guard now? Who's playing guard now? This guy was supposed to be your starter and your backup. I don't know. Thank you, Jeannie, for not having a player personnel position open to someone who had a brain.
Yes, Jeremy, we just addressed the Gabe situation. Yes. He did score, 7 points tonight, which is probably what combined more than
that last 3 was shit time. That doesn't count. I don't even remember what he did to get the first 4 points. I don't remember. 48-minute game, scoring 4 points for a guy that you got as if no, thank you. It's an absolute disaster.
It is, but again, the Lakers are making themselves. It's that much harder for them to go ahead and be able to manufacture victories against quality teams. They look great against the teams that are injured. Look great against the teams that just are already in tanking mode for Cooper Flag. But the teams that they need to face off against, the teams that they need to play well against, make mistakes down the stretch in one game and absolutely look terrible in the second half for another. They didn't even show any heart in that second half. That's what's so frustrating is they didn't show any heart at all in that second half.
Why should they? They're still being catered to, aren't they? They're still getting paid to suck, a.k.a. Max Christie. You're still giving Gabe's still making his money. He doesn't give a shit.
Vando's enjoying life on the sidelines.
Vando got paid how much for sucking ass against Denver in that series in the Western Conference Finals? He got rewarded for sucking. So this is what happens when you keep giving money to people who don't do well. It's a backwards way. I don't know what they were thinking. D'Lo, you had to sign because you can't lose $20 million in today's NBA. But you didn't have to sign Vando or Max Christie to their contracts. It's just a waste of money, waste of time.
So with that, it is the Lakers fast break. The Lakers once again get destroyed in the second half for a 127-102 loss. I don't know how much more you want to put into this night, Joe, because really I think all of us feel deflated. I don't even think you want to do a nightcap tonight. It's just really you're trying to find some positivity and hope out of this. And when you have a second half like that, it is really hard to do so.
Well, we were going to be able to talk about everything we need to talk about tonight in the post game. I don't think we need to continue to beat the dead horse.
No.
We want to focus on tonight's game a little bit because you can't keep repeating yourself every show on the deficiencies of this team. So I'm trying to stick to what's going on. It might sound like I'm repeating myself, but it's actually based off of tonight's game. Gabe Vincent, again, did shit tonight. Max Christie may have scored 12 points, but he's not doing anything of any substance for this team. And you gave this guy money. And then you have guys like Reddish who play well for about 8.5 minutes a game. That's it. That's all he gives you. And then guys like Dalton Connect who are coming up, they're going to do what they do. You have Austin Reeves, who's probably the third best player on the team, and sometimes him and Connect kind of have been switching that number depending on how well Connect is shooting. That's a sad commentary when your third best player is someone who probably should be the sixth man of the year type player. Rui is a solid role player who doesn't really affect the game that much. He's another guy that's better off the bench on a competing team. And maybe he's a good starter on a competing team, but only because he might know his role better versus putting in maybe another star in there or whatever. That's it. But he's not going to change anything for you. He's not going to make a difference. He might have a good game where he might, take him over the top here and there once every couple weeks, maybe once every 3 weeks. But you don't depend on a Rui to win these kind of games. You can't, because he's never going to. It's got to be one of those things where you catch Denver at the wrong time and they just can't. They don't have it that night. But it seems like the Lakers never seem to catch these guys anytime on a bad night because they play like a bunch of tulips against them. It's just what it is. They play like the Cowardly Lion and the Tin Man. No heart and no balls.
Wait, hold on here. Rodell says, you guys are blaming the role players. LeBron, AD, Rui, D'Lo played like garbage. Have you been watching this program? We've already singled out D'Lo.
I don't think Rodell listens very well.
He doesn't.
Rodell, you have a major problem listening. I think you need to go take a look. The local JCs have they literally have a comprehension class. You can go pay. It's usually 3 units. Okay. The units, depending on whatever state you're in, you pay the money. Go take a comprehension class. What the fuck is wrong with you? Do you watch and listen? You're worse than a child. Children that I know, 8, 7, 4, have better comprehension than you do. Pay attention. Wake up. This is a discussion we keep having. You're a goddamn grown adult. Wake up. Pay attention. Do we have to continue to say the same shit every time? I blame everyone. Didn't you hear what I said? The team lost. You want to blame J.J. Redick for his rotations? You might have a point, yes. But what do you want J.J. to do? He's been given a gun with no bullets in it. So what do you want him to do? Throw the gun at him? What? What do you want him to do? What do you want Christie to do? You want Christie to turn into Michael Jordan? He's not Michael Jordan. He's barely an NBA player. So now what? Where are you going to go? Are you going to cherry pick, depending on the time when we're talking, to go after something? Oh, I didn't hear you at 10:14 talk about Olivari. Who gives a shit about Olivari? Who cares about any of these guys at this point? They all play like shit. Everyone. Every single one. And guess what, folks? This is not the first time. And you had Darvin Ham before. Now you don't have Darvin Ham. Then you had a healthy Aaron Gordon. They still whooped your ass. Aaron Gordon's not healthy tonight. You still got your ass whooped. So what is it? What's changing? Where are we going to go next? Making up shit out of nowhere? Oh, you guys aren't blaming the Tooth Fairy now. Oh, you guys are only saying cool job to the equipment manager. Like, what is going on here? Like, seriously. At what point does this kind of go away? Take a comprehension class. Seriously, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Once again, the Lakers lose 127-102. I'm just going to say this. I mean, we prefaced it by saying LeBron and AD were terrible tonight. A lot of the blame goes to them, but it's also the team. And the thing is, you have a team that is so reliant on 2 players that have to do well for you each and every night. When they don't, this is what happens, because you just don't have the depth around them for people to step up in case you have 1 or 2 players that just are not playing well. The good teams, the really good teams, they have that for stretches. That if your star players, maybe you're struggling a little bit, the other players can pick it up. So yes, it is partly the role players, it's partly the stars, it's partly JJ. It's a organization. Again, when we win as a team and we win as an organization, when we lose, it's the same thing. It was a team and an organizational loss tonight. No heart was shown by the entire team in that second half, Joe.
I don't know what JJ Redick is going to say tomorrow. We got a couple days here. I don't know if they're going to even practice tomorrow. Maybe he gives them a day off. They come back on Monday and kind of regroup. I don't know what else he can say, though. What is he going to say to LeBron? Don't turn the ball over? Okay. LeBron will probably have a good game in the next game because he's LeBron. AD, he'll come back, drop 30 and 12. Okay. Will that matter, though? I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's Phoenix. It's in Phoenix. It's a road game. They've only won one road game. One road game.
Alan says, how many teams? Well, before,
I'm sorry, they won 3 road games. My mistake. I think I think they've won really one road. I don't even know if one road win against a good team, New Orleans. I don't know. I'm all confused now. I don't know how to gauge what's going to happen next.
You know, Alan, again, sometimes, Alan, you just don't get things as well. How many teams can be top teams when the stars suck, Gerald?
Is that Alan with the eye?
Yeah, Alan with the eye. You're not getting the message, okay? When your 2 stars have to be 2 stars every single game, it means there's a problem with the building and construction of this team. There have been examples so far this season of when, like Golden State, they played well even with Curry out of the lineup. Of course, Boston, they've played well without Porzingis in the lineup because they have teams with quality players around them that can pick up the slack. With the Lakers, it's either LeBron and AD do well or the team absolutely sucks. So there you go, Alan. That's your question. It's been answered. Again, the roster construction is terrible. LeBron and AD were terrible tonight. The team was terrible. HAJ was outcoached tonight. It started from the get-go. The fact that you made a mistake by leaving Reddish in there and not leaving Connect in there. But again, that wouldn't have solved everything. That wouldn't have fixed everything. That second half and the way they came out was absolutely flat, absolutely terrible. And they never regained their composure after the Nuggets went off and ran and hid. It's just that simple. You don't have enough quality players on this team to make up for when LeBron and AD are not playing well.
You could have been able to do that with LeBron maybe even 5 years ago. LeBron could have played 80 games 5 years ago. Crazy to think that, considering it was his 17th season, and probably gotten away with games like this. But
Oklahoma City is still won without Chet Holmgren. So there you go.
But see, they're youngsters. Their team was constructed well, and there's also young players on there. LeBron is
just
not.
Said it. Their team was constructed well.
LeBron cannot do everything. Those days are gone, and it's been that way for 3 years. It's been that way for 3 years, convincingly, that he can't do it, because those games that they would lose in the fourth quarter against Denver in the playoffs, you could see he was gassed. That doesn't help playing in Denver either. Denver, maybe LeBron in 2018 is a different story, but you don't have that luxury anymore. And AD has a habit of not kind of being consistent and dominating in those moments either. He's had a few years where he has, but it's not enough. He'll go down as a Hall of Famer, as a great player, as a world champion, and all that. But he's never going to be the first tier guy. I don't even know if he's probably a second tier, kind of teetering on the top 3 when it comes to big men of all time, because he doesn't have that. He's never really had that, I'm going to take this and I'm going to freaking I'm going to put you through the hoop. Never had that. And they need that this team needs it, and he's not giving it. He's playing well. He was the MVP. I mean, I don't know how you can give somebody, even think about an MVP 10 games in. I think that's kind of stupid. But we are prisoners of the moment culture. Not me. I say we to be respectful, but we are prisoners of the moment. We love to imagine things right away. Like I even read an article today. It was really quick because it's one of those stupid Facebook things. But Francisco Lindor should have been the MVP in the NL in baseball. Where do you come up with this stupid shit? Seriously, like what is the brain activity? Is it a troll page so that they can get clicks? Probably. Really, folks? Really? Major League Baseball, in terms of the AL and NL, have been in existence for 121 years. You had a guy go 50-50 for the first time ever. You know, like the amount of stupidity that continues to resonate in life. Rodell, I'm talking to you. Like the amount of stupidity in terms of comments and interpretation and imagining. Just like we were talking about how Jokic was complaining to the ref, asshole. The whole world can see on the damn TV that you hooked them. And the ref sitting there going, one of those times, the ref needs to go, you hooked them. Come here. Look at the monitor. You hooked them. What are you bitching about? Sometimes you got to talk to adults like children. Because people imagine shit, right? They imagine. And then when you tell them they're imagining shit, they get mad at you. What? Really? Really? You do something wrong and you try to gaslight me. Okay, good luck with that. Good luck. I don't give a shit about your fantasy in your head. I care about what's live, what's there. Do you suck at your job? Did you do something wrong? We have proof. Okay, show me. Yeah, you screwed up. Now what? Just shut up and admit it. Go to the other side. I mean, seriously, I don't understand how this is a hard. I can't. Here's where I'm having a problem. I'm not understanding how people don't understand that. Like, what happens in your brain? What happens? Because I know for a fact, when I go somewhere and I do something wrong, you can ask my wife, you can ask my best friends, my coworkers, all these people. What's the first thing that happens when I screw up? God damn it. I should have my head examined, like right away and immediately. I am angry at myself. Because if I had seen someone do what I just did, I'd be all over it. It's called accountability. Something that this world seems to not have. Accountability. You screw up, you admit you screwed up. It's over after that. It is what it is. We're not perfect. We're not perfect. We're gonna screw up. We're gonna make bad predictions. But damn it, you gotta weigh it out, just like a gambler, right? A gambler, no matter how professional that gambler is, isn't gonna go 100 out of 100. They're gonna go maybe 80 out of 100, but they're still making money, and they still have credibility in the end. This is important. This is important to understand. Now, this is not life and death. This is entertainment. But at the same time, let this be a lesson. Sports teaches a lot of lessons. That's why parents love to put their kids in sports. They learn discipline. They'll learn how to take orders. They'll learn how winning and losing affects life, competition. It does play a huge factor in the development of the mental part of a human being's mind. I believe that. Let this be a lesson for you people out there that can't comprehend simple shit. Pay attention. Shut the hell up. Watch. Yes, I know it's hard to be wrong. It sucks. But it doesn't matter. When you're wrong, you're wrong. Admit it or shut the fuck up. That's very, very good. That's very good advice. Don't act like you know. I run into this so much. Someone talking out of their ass about anything. It's not just sports. And you're sitting there and I'm contemplating whether I should say something. And you know what happens when I do? go that route, when I have the, I guess, mindset to do it, the whole room shuts down because now that person feels insulted. Now, more often than not, they're not going to react. They're not going to react to me. They're just going to probably go, well, that guy's kind of an asshole. Why am I an asshole? Because I told you what you said was wrong? I'm an asshole because you're wrong and you act like you're right? I hate when that happens. I hate when people talk like they know what the fuck they're talking about. I've used the astrophysicist example before on here. If I'm in a room full of astrophysicists, guess how many times I'm going to talk? This much. You know why? Because this is exactly what I know about astrophysics. This much. 0. The Lakers have played over their heads, but we haven't been on that. We've been trying to play the fake role, right, G? We're playing the fake role because negativity does drain. It drains people. And I get it. I'm with it. Plus, I want to be excited too. You know, sometimes it's that fake, like whatever it is that you want to call it, hope. But guys, I want you all to be ready for what's coming. Just in case, be ready.
Once again, it is the Lakers losing 127-102. Xbox, thank you so much for the super chat. You said, sorry, I didn't come on. Barco winning 2-0 with 10 minutes to go. Draw 2-0 at 7, 15 a.m. Aussie time. Then this crap, I'm just ropeable. Chicho chat. Truly appreciate it, Mark. No worries, Mark. I think it would have been just even more somber with you there because just really a bad game in that second half. Absolutely. They didn't show up. And they deserve what they got because you don't come to play. You think, oh, you're up on them by 6. Everything is good. Remember, this is the same team, Joe, in the playoffs. When it matters the most, we were up by 20 and still let it get away. And
yeah, it's no longer a one-off. This is you are talking about 13 losses and 14 tries against one team. And they lost a lot of those games in the most important games, which is the playoffs. And 4 of those losses cost you a championship. That hurts. If they beat Denver in the Western Conference Finals, they beat Miami in the finals. We're not looking at the Celtics at 18. We would have seen the Lakers at 18 first. So yeah, there's a lot of frustration with that when you start thinking about it. It was Denver's time too. That happens, but there's never been a fix since then. There wasn't an enhancement. There wasn't a talent infusion. All they did was sign everybody, which at that time we were kind of coming off that kind of surprise that they were getting to the Western Conference Finals. So maybe we were on a little bit of a high during the summer and we accepted it. But we quickly saw halfway through the season that this team wasn't going to probably win a championship.
I mean, again, it goes back to what did most of us, the entire panel, and actually, Alfred Esmond, legend, we had over a dozen people that are part of this show give their thoughts on where the Lakers would end up in the Western Conference. And not one of us had the Lakers above 6. And then you get to Joe, myself, Stone, Jamie, I think also as well. We all had like 9th, 10th, 11th in that range for the Lakers for reasons why. Because we just think, again, so much is laid upon 2 individuals that if they don't produce, like we were talking about before, Joe, but coming into this game, the metrics were saying that LeBron and AD, by the metrics, were 2 of the top 10 players in the league. If they are not playing like that every single game, they don't have a chance, Joe, because they just don't have anyone else is going to consistently step up for it. And when they have someone that does, like Dalton Connect, they're not given the opportunity to expand upon that. They're automatically sent to the bench and immediately thrown out of their rhythm, like we saw Dalton tonight. But again, Dalton starting, I know that was something that was said in the chat. They should have never let Dalton out of the starting lineup. That would have not have changed a thing. The way the Lakers played tonight in that second half, I don't think Michael Jordan coming onto that court tonight would have changed things for the Lakers. When you have that lack of spirit and that lack of drive, the lack of focus, it's absolutely just saps the strength from everyone on the team. But still, again, what you did for this kid's confidence by putting him back on the bench, it's not a good sign by JJ. And I just, again, seeing Reddish out there on the floor, not giving you what you need because he's supposed to be out there for defense and he's not playing good defense. That's part of the problem for me that I have when you make those decisions, Joe.
Yeah, Reddish is. I mean, he made some shots tonight, though. But 8.5 minutes out of a 48-minute game is not enough. Yeah. And Rui doesn't impact the game a lot. We've seen a rookie impact the game more than I think I can remember Rui impacting a game. There was this lifting of positiveness when Connect was hitting those shots. And none of those guys have ever had that moment. Not Reddish, not hell. Lonnie Walker's had more of that instance in the playoffs against, what was it, Gold State, right?
Yeah.
Was it game
Yeah,
6?
that magical game he had.
Yeah. I mean, he's had more of a game where we were like, whoa, we needed this. I've never seen Reddish have one. I've never seen Rui have one. I don't. I think maybe they would have been able to. Would they have gotten a couple more shots in with Connect? Would they have been able to spread out a little more? Maybe. But does that fix the D'Lo issue?
No.
D'Lo looked like complete gutter piss tonight again. That is killing the Lakers because Austin was playing really well at the beginning of the game. How many open shots? I'm talking not even 5 feet from D'Angelo. Wide open. There was 2 I remember distinctively where he missed. Those are 6 points that matter in a game like this. Those are momentum swingers. Those are, now you got to go guard D'Angelo. That changes the defensive scheme for Denver, and it opens up things for the Laker offense. Therefore, maybe LeBron isn't creating more turnovers for himself because of it, because he's working in smaller, confined areas. And for the love of God, Austin, can you stop doing fucking bounce passes in between 2 or 3 defenders in the paint? Can you stop doing that? There's no one on this team that's going to get that ball and dunk it over Jokic. Please, can you stop doing that? Enough of the bounce passes. You guys are not good enough for that. LeBron, sure, but for the reasons why I just said, he doesn't have any room to do those passes anyways. This loss wouldn't have hurt as much, to be honest with you, if they hadn't lost to Orlando a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
This was exasperated by the fact that loss created a losing streak, which is what I was used to. What I was, I should say, which is what I was afraid was going to happen. Because I kind of was worried about tonight's game if Jokic was playing. Because
Which
of
he was.
Yeah, for the same reasons we've been worried about for the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
It's just, you got to win those games, man. You can't, and they lost it because they couldn't hit one damn free throw.
So with that, again, it's the Lakers losing 127-102. Joe, I know that the Phoenix Suns are coming up on Tuesday. If you're JJ, what do you tell the guys in the locker room to have them hopefully refocus for that game coming up on Tuesday before we head on out?
Is Bradley Beal playing?
There's not a confirmation that Durant and Beal are playing, but there is a possibility. There's a strong possibility that
If Bradley Beal isn't playing and Durant isn't playing, the Lakers have to win this game. And they have to win in San Antonio the night after that. it can kind of mend a little bit of these games if they are to kind of right the ship. If they go 1-1, it's a dud. They have to win both of these games to kind of sort of make up for these losses. And that's kind of how I look at it, because you are now, after that, you are going to play Oklahoma City at home, which it doesn't really matter whether they play at home or on the road. They play a fully equipped team, which Chet Holmgren will be out, but they have enough in the arsenal to be a problem. And then you got that road trip where you're going to be spending almost 3 weeks on the road.
We will see what happens. Of course, here they all come out of the woodwork, Joe. Black said, if I said it before, if the Lakers aren't gifted 30 to 40 free throws, they'll lose. Black, you just saying that like yeah, never mind. I just go ahead.
Wait, what
You
happened?
keep saying what you're saying. He said if the Lakers aren't gifted 30 to 40 free throws, they'll lose. They're not gifted. When they get 30 40 free throws, it's because they are putting the pressure on the other team and are earning those free throws. But if you want to say what you want to say, just sound like someone else that again, just are envious of the Lakers' success.
Well, losers always talk like that. They always
Yeah.
blame the refs for everything. I'm not saying that doesn't happen once in a while, but if you're doing it all the time, that's a loser mentality. That's what losers do. Blame the refs, blame this, blame the teachers, blame the parents, blame. Nothing is accountable to your dumbass. What about you? What about going in the mirror and looking at yourself and blaming that person for being an idiot? Whoever does that? Very, very few people do that. People do it, but it's very few. And the thing is, it shouldn't be few. It should be like 90% of the people. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror and analyze yourself. Every time your team loses, you blame somebody else. Are we sitting here blaming the refs for doing what they did tonight? We could have done that because they did do some stupid shit tonight. But guess what? Just like when you're pitching or hitting, sometimes you get that ump that's calling the strike on a little bit outside corner.
But when you lose by 25, Joe, how much can you really blame the bluff?
Exactly. And how much can you blame anyone other than the Lakers when it's in Denver, in LA, with or without Aaron Gordon,
On a back-to-back for Denver.
on a back-to-back or a single or the playoffs or not in the playoffs or in January or in February or in April? It's the same damn story. Lakers play well in the first half and then piss in their faces in the second half. It's Groundhog's Day, baby. They should just call this little series with Denver and LA Groundhog Day. That's it. It's the same script. And you know what the Lakers are doing while this is going on? They're doing exactly dick. So when is someone going to finally sit down? And maybe they have. When is someone going to finally sit down with this team and go, what is it with you guys in this team? What is this? Don't you get tired of looking like a bunch of bitches? And then if you do have that discussion and no one responds still, then what the hell kind of team do you have? Seriously, what kind of team do you have at that point? Oh, you're going to keep Gabe Vincent because you've got him signed for 1 year? Who gives a shit? Who cares? You got to pay him anyways to get donuts. Might as well get him off your team so that you don't have to have a heart attack every time he dribbles the ball. No. Mr. J.J. Redick, I wish I had 10 Gabe Vincents. Why? Why? Because he practices tough? Yeah, we know all about those guys. What does practicing do? What is that going to do for you when you play in the games and you look like shit? What? This is the problem too. This is the coaching thing. Because if J.J. Redick is on everybody, what happens? Everybody gets burnt out and then you got to change the coach again. I get it. So that's why we're here to talk for him. Yeah, the second apron was the final blow for the NBA, in my opinion. For teams like LA and any team that wants to kind of enhance their team on the fly, those days are gone. The NBA, what the NBA has done with this new CBA is they have guaranteed that if you make a bad decision in 2024, you are going to suck until probably 2029. Because usually these 5-year contracts, I'm just kind of using that as a base. Because now the way they've made trading difficult, they've also said, well, if any team has a all NBA player, now that NBA player is going to get the supermax. No one's leaving for a supermax. There might be one every now and then, but that's going to be the exception to the rule. There's just that's not expected. There's always a surprise somewhere, but it's not going to be the rule. The rule is people are going to stay with their teams, which means the Lakers have to start now figuring out what the fuck they're going to do after AD and LeBron are gone. And I don't know when the hell that's going to happen. They're going to have to get top picks somehow. How? I don't know.
That doesn't surprise me at all, Jeremy, because Gabe has been a horrible acquisition for the Lakers.
He's worse than Kendrick Nunn. Honest to God, guys, he is worse.
And Kendrick is in Europe right now. So
he is worse. He is dog shit on that court. I don't remember Kendrick Nunn having zeros when he was playing. He might not have played a lot, obviously, his first year. He played a little bit his second year, but I don't remember. He scored at least a couple times during the game. This fucker doesn't score ever. It's terrible. He is horrid. I just don't want to see these kind of players. I don't want to see him on the team. I don't want to see him. I don't. And I think the Players Association, it's always about money, man. These guys don't give two shits about anything. So fuck them. All of them. They all agreed to this. Fuck you. Seriously. You're making this whole thing just unenjoyable at this point.
Xbox, all I'll say is Bronny can't even score 5 points in the G League. Are you sure he's actually better than Gabe?
There's no way Xbox meant that. That's gotta be.
I know he did.
It's gotta be a joke.
It's gotta be. I know it's a joke. He's just trying to cheer everybody up. But JSJ, truly appreciate you hopping over from back and forth from YouTube to Twitch. We get Jimmy Butler, then he'll turn into Russell Westbrook. Yeah, look what happened to Russell Westbrook tonight. So, Joe, any last parting gifts or wisdom before we head on out?
I'll repeat myself again. For those of you who have a problem understanding English, I highly recommend you educate yourself. Context. You've heard me say that how many times? Context. Wake the fuck up. Understand what that is. Because there are more of me out there, believe it or not. Not a lot, but there are a lot of me. There are a few out there like me that'll call you out for being stupid. Because you're not going to win this argument. Not because I need to feel good about myself. It's what it is. Watch. Don't be blind. Just watch and see the results. You hear that a lot here. Results. Tonight was a team loss from top to bottom. I'm talking from the dumbass that owns the team, the useless piece of shit that's a GM, JJ Redick fucking up with the starting lineup, and these players that played like dinkuses.
That includes AD, that includes LeBron,
that includes AD, and includes LeBron. However, what more? There's a scale to some of this stuff. Okay, are we expecting LeBron to continue to be the greatest, arguably, over and over again? It's not smart to think that way. It's not common sense. We could expect that from AD, but in that scale, what are we going to expect at this point from AD when he plays the Sabonis's and the Jokic's and the Embiid's when he's healthy? This is not an anomaly. This is a reoccurrence over and over and over again. AD looked like the cowardly lion tonight and the Tin Man together. No heart, no courage. And you saw it. You saw it. I saw how hesitant he was. There was it wasn't even me. It was a lot of you guys that were watching and commenting on playback. Is it that hard? I'm sorry. Is it that hard if we all saw it? We all saw it. So how do they go? How do they get out of this? How do they get out of this? Well, how do they get out of this is they go to Phoenix and play a team that's injury depleted, probably. AD has a great game. LeBron has a great game. And then one of the Tweedledees and Tweedledums has a good game, and then they win. Great. That's their only chance of winning games these in this kind of setup. And then they got to catch the good teams on a bad night. That's probably what we have to start expecting here as the season goes on. Because the talent is not there. It's not there. And LeBron is too old. And AD's too hesitant in the bigger moments. He's just too hesitant. This is 2 games in a row. One was at the end of the game when he missed 3 free throws, and the other was really from halftime till after that. Looked like Space Jam took his talents at the half. The Lakers have no room. They can't afford to have that happen, especially with the one star player they have that's in his prime. Giannis forgave Vincent, yeah.
Yeah, because Joe was asking what trade, they played like ass tonight. What trade can change all that? And I'm like, well, Giannis forgave Vincent. That's, yeah, you asked. But again, it is the Lakers losing 127 to 102. JSJ at this point says I would try and get Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton wouldn't have changed anything tonight, JSJ, but again, we'll be talking about that in the weeks and months to come as far as upgrades for the Lakers. We'll see. But the team showed no heart in that second half and deserved what they got. Again, an organizational effort that was nil in the second half as the Lakers lose 127-102. I don't know. We may be back tomorrow night. It all depends on how we feel after this stinging loss, but we'll definitely be back Monday as we set you up for Tuesday's game against Phoenix.
Oh, man. Chuck Woolery died.
Oh, rest in peace. On another terrible note, rest in peace, Chuck Woolery. One of the quintessential game show hosts of all time. Man, he always had that chipper spirit. And yeah, absolutely. Just all the memories from my early childhood watching those different game shows he was on in the 70s and the 80s. Rest in peace, Chuck Woolery. So
it puts things in perspective.
Yeah.
We're crying and whining like little girls about a basketball game. But again, we are an entertainment channel, so there's something to come out of it, I guess.
Something. Go enjoy F1 at Las Vegas. Go enjoy whatever you want to do for this weekend. We'll, again, maybe be back on Sunday, but definitely be back on Monday. Don't forget, I've got the Pop Culture Cosmos for all members that just dropped as far as for you in advance, ahead of anywhere else on YouTube. And also, it will drop tomorrow for everyone else, wherever you get your podcasts, where we're talking Black Friday deals, also as well, Wicked and Gladiator 2 as well. So, once again, it is the Lakers losing 127-102. We may be back tomorrow.
You didn't hear shit, Joe Ingles, you
what?
Fake.
Gerald, I heard Bradley Beal and KD. Yeah.
Well, that is a plus.
That's a
positive. Where'd you hear that? Just making it up to talk shit.
No, they will probably be back. Knowing our luck, Joe, they will be back. So it would not be out of the realm of possibility. So, yes. It is, of course, 127-102. Everyone out there, I know it's been tough the past couple games, but again, the Lakers are 10-6. They're still, 4th or 5th place in the Western Conference. So at least try to see if we can get a better week going. If the week turns out well, never know. But again, the competition is much tougher. Can the Lakers get tougher? We'll find out. But we'll be here for you one way or the other. Whether it goes bad or whether it goes good. Right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. We'll see you soon. Be safe, everyone. Go Lakers.
I missed 2011. Not really, but 2010, yes.